Have you ever felt like your childhood held clues to something greater about who you are? Maybe there were moments you didn't fully understand back then, things you experienced, felt, or noticed that didn't seem to fit into the ordinary world around you. Let me tell you something, those moments weren't random. They were signs. Rare, powerful signs that you've always been spiritually gifted. You see, spiritual gifts don't just appear out of nowhere. They're part of you, woven into the very fabric of your being, and they often reveal themselves in childhood. But here's the thing, most people don't recognize them for what they are. They dismiss them, ignore them, or worse, suppress them. And that's why today we're diving deep into these 5 rare childhood signs. If you experienced even one of these, it's time to embrace the truth you're not just different, you're chosen. Let's start with the first sign, one that often goes unnoticed because it feels so natural to spiritually gifted children: an intense connection to nature. As a child, did you feel drawn to the trees, the sky, the animals, or even the soil beneath your feet? It wasn't just curiosity, it was something deeper. Maybe you felt like you could communicate with nature, like you could sense its energy. Perhaps you'd sit under a tree and feel its presence, as if it were alive in a way that went beyond biology. Did you ever feel a strange calm when you were near water? Or did you hear the wind whispering to you in a way that felt personal? This connection isn't just a fondness for the outdoors, it's a spiritual gift. You were attuned to the energy of the earth because you were already vibrating at a frequency that allowed you to sense the life force in everything. Let me ask you this, when you were in nature, did you feel at home in a way you didn't feel anywhere else? That was your soul recognizing its connection to the universe. The second sign is one that might have made your childhood feel overwhelming at times: heightened sensitivity to emotions. Spiritually gifted children are often what we call empaths. Did you feel like you could sense the emotions of others, even when they didn't say a word? Maybe you could walk into a room and instantly know if someone was upset, even if they were smiling. Or perhaps you'd feel emotions that didn't even seem to belong to you, like sudden sadness or anxiety that seemed to come out of nowhere. This wasn't your imagination, and it wasn't a weakness. It was your gift. As an empathic child, you were picking up on the energy around you, feeling the vibrations of people's thoughts and emotions. But here's the challenge: as a child, you might not have known how to handle this sensitivity. It might have left you feeling drained, confused, or even isolated. Let me ask you, how did you cope with feeling so much at such a young age? Did you try to shut it out, or did you embrace it, even if you didn't understand it? The third sign is one that often sets spiritually gifted children apart in a way that others notice, even if they don't understand it: vivid and meaningful dreams. Did you have dreams as a child that felt more real than waking life? Dreams that stayed with you long after you woke up, as if they were trying to tell you something important. Maybe you dreamed of places you'd never been, people you'd never met, or experiences that felt ancient and familiar all at once. Spiritually gifted children often have access to the dream world in a way that others don't. This is because your soul was already tuned into a higher plane of existence, where messages, guidance, and even glimpses of past lives could reach you. But here's the thing about dreams: they're not always easy to interpret. As a child, did you ever wonder why these dreams felt so different from ordinary ones? Did you feel like they were trying to show you something, even if you couldn't figure out what it was? That's because they were. Your dreams were a portal, a way for your higher self to communicate with you before you even knew what that meant. The fourth sign is one that often made you feel like an outsider: a deep sense of knowing things you couldn't possibly know. As a child, did you ever have moments where you just knew something without being told? Maybe you could sense when something bad was about to happen, or you had an unshakable feeling about a person or situation that turned out to be true. This wasn't a coincidence, and it wasn't luck. It was your intuition, a gift that most people spend their whole lives trying to develop. But for spiritually gifted children, this intuition is already active. It's as natural as breathing. The challenge is that, as a child, you might not have been able to explain it. Did you ever feel like people dismissed your insights because they didn't understand how you could know what you knew? And did that ever make you doubt yourself? If so, let me tell you this: your intuition was, and still is, your superpower. The more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. The fifth and final sign is one that often made your childhood feel magical, but also a little lonely: the feeling that you were different. Did you ever feel like you didn't quite fit in, like there was something about you that set you apart from other kids? Maybe you had interests, thoughts, or questions that seemed far beyond your years. Perhaps you felt connected to something greater, even if you couldn't explain what it was. This sense of being different wasn't your imagination, it was your soul recognizing its uniqueness. Spiritually gifted children often feel out of place in a world that doesn't yet understand them. But let me ask you this: did you ever feel like your difference was a burden? Because if you did, I want you to know this: what made you different as a child is what makes you powerful as an adult. Your uniqueness isn't something to hide, it's something to celebrate. As we grow older, the world has a way of making us forget who we truly are. The signs of your spiritual gifts that were so evident in childhood can get buried under layers of doubt, fear, and societal expectations. You may have dismissed those rare experiences as imagination, or perhaps you were told to grow up, stop being so sensitive, or be realistic, yet deep down, you've always known there was something different about you, something that couldn't be explained away or ignored. That feeling, that knowing, is the truth of who you are. Your childhood wasn't just a random series of events, it was the foundation of your spiritual journey. And now, it's time to awaken that power within you, to reclaim those gifts and step fully into the person you were always meant to be. But how do you reconnect with these gifts? How do you honor what you once felt so deeply as a child, but may have lost touch with as an adult? The first step is to remember. Think back to the moments in your childhood when you felt most alive, most connected, most you. Maybe it was the way you felt at peace in nature, or the way your dreams carried messages that seemed to come from another world. Maybe it was how intensely you felt other people's emotions, or the way you just knew things without being told. These weren't coincidences, they were clues, pieces of a puzzle that is still waiting to be assembled. Let me ask you, when you reflect on your childhood, what comes to mind? What moments stand out as times when you felt something bigger than yourself? Whatever those moments are, they are the keys to unlocking your spiritual gifts. Once you've remembered, the next step is to trust. This can be one of the hardest parts, especially if you've spent years doubting yourself or pushing aside the parts of you that didn't seem to fit into the normal world. Trusting your gifts means trusting yourself, your intuition, your emotions, your connection to something greater. It means allowing yourself to believe that what you experienced as a child was real, even if others didn't understand it. Trust is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Start small. Pay attention to the little nudges you feel throughout the day, the gut feelings, the subtle signs, the moments of synchronicity that seem too perfect to be random. These are the whispers of your soul, reminding you of who you are. As you begin to trust yourself, you'll notice something extraordinary. Your gifts will start to awaken again. You might find that your connection to nature feels stronger, that being in the presence of trees, water, or animals brings a sense of peace and clarity you can't find anywhere else. You might start to dream more vividly, or notice patterns and symbols in your dreams that seem to hold deeper meaning. You might feel your intuition sharpening, guiding you toward the right people, places, and opportunities. And you might find that your sensitivity to energy, both your own and others', becomes more pronounced. This isn't something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Your gifts are coming back to you because you're finally ready to embrace them. But here's the thing, awakening your gifts isn't just about rediscovering who you are, it's about using that knowledge to create the life you were meant to live. Your gifts aren't random, they were given to you for a reason. They're tools meant to help you navigate your path and make an impact on the world around you. If you felt deeply connected to nature as a child, perhaps your purpose involves protecting the earth or helping others reconnect with its healing energy. If you were an empath, maybe your sensitivity is meant to guide you toward a life of service, healing, or understanding others on a profound level. If your dreams held messages, perhaps you're meant to use them as a source of guidance, not just for yourself but for others. Your gifts are unique to you, and they hold the blueprint for your purpose. Let me ask you another question. What would your life look like if you fully embraced your gifts? If you stopped hiding, doubting, or suppressing them, and instead leaned into their power? Imagine what it would feel like to live in alignment with your true self, to trust your intuition without hesitation, and to use your gifts to make a difference in the world. This isn't just a fantasy, it's a possibility. But it requires you to take action. It requires you to let go of the fear that's been holding you back and step boldly into the unknown. Because the truth is, the world needs your gifts. It needs your light, your wisdom, and your unique perspective. And the more you embrace who you are, the more you'll inspire others to do the same. As you awaken your gifts, you'll also notice something else. The connections in your life will begin to shift. Some relationships may fall away, not because of conflict, but because they no longer align with the person you're becoming. This can be painful, but it's also necessary. As you step into your spiritual gifts, you'll naturally attract people who resonate with your energy, people who support, uplift, and understand you on a soul level. These connections will feel effortless, like finding a missing piece of yourself. And the more you surround yourself with these kinds of people, the more your gifts will flourish. Let me leave you with this: your gifts are not a burden, they are a blessing. They were given to you because you are capable of carrying them, of nurturing them, and of using them to create something beautiful. Your childhood was only the beginning, a glimpse of what's possible when you fully step into your power. The question now is, are you ready to answer the call? Are you ready to awaken the power within you and embrace the truth of who you are? When you realize that you are spiritually gifted, something profound begins to happen. You start to see that your gifts are not just for you, they're meant to ripple out and touch the lives of others. Being chosen isn't about superiority or separation, it's about responsibility. It's about understanding that your talents, your energy, and your unique perspective are tools for transformation, not just your own, but for the collective. The world is in desperate need of people who are awake, people who are willing to step into their power and use it to create change. And that's exactly why you're here. You've been chosen because you have the ability to bridge the gap between the spiritual and the physical, to show others what's possible when we live in alignment with our highest selves. But how do you take something as intangible as spiritual gifts and use them to create tangible change? It starts with looking inward. Before you can transform the world, you have to transform yourself. Your gifts may be powerful, but without clarity, they can feel overwhelming or even chaotic. This is why the first step on the chosen path is self-mastery. You must learn to understand and work with your gifts, to recognize their patterns and rhythms, and to trust the wisdom they bring. If you're an empath, for example, this might mean learning to set energetic boundaries so that you're not carrying the emotions of others as if they're your own. If you're deeply intuitive, it might mean practicing discernment so that you can distinguish between fear, ego, and true guidance. The more you learn to work with your gifts, the more they will reveal themselves to you, and the more you'll be able to use them with intention. Let me ask you something: how often do you make time to connect with yourself on a soul level? In the rush of daily life, it's easy to lose touch with that deeper part of you. But if you want to step fully into your gifts, you have to prioritize that connection. This could be through meditation, journaling, spending time in nature, or simply sitting in silence and listening to the whispers of your intuition. The more you create space for your soul to speak, the clearer its guidance will become. And as you strengthen this connection, you'll begin to notice something extraordinary. Your gifts will start to align with your purpose. You'll begin to see how the things that make you unique are exactly what the world needs from you. As you deepen your connection to your gifts, the next step is to take them outward. This is where the transformation begins, not just for you, but for those around you. Your gifts are like a light. When you allow them to shine, they illuminate the path not just for yourself, but for others as well. This doesn't mean you have to save the world or carry the weight of others' struggles on your shoulders. It simply means living in alignment with who you truly are. When you embrace your gifts fully, you become a living example of what's possible. You show others that it's okay to be different, that sensitivity is a strength, and that there's beauty in trusting the unseen. Your very presence becomes a source of healing, inspiration, and empowerment. But let me ask you this: how do you want to use your gifts to make a difference? There's no single right way to walk the chosen path. For some, it might mean becoming a healer, teacher, or guide, using their gifts to help others on their spiritual journeys. For others, it might mean creating art, writing, or music that carries a message of hope and transformation. And for some, it might simply mean showing up authentically in their everyday lives, spreading kindness and compassion wherever they go. The way you use your gifts is unique to you. What matters is that you use them intentionally, with love, and with the understanding that even the smallest actions can create profound change. One of the most powerful ways to use your gifts is by holding space for others. Being chosen doesn't mean having all the answers. It means being willing to listen, to be present, and to create an environment where others feel safe to explore their own truths. This could be as simple as lending a compassionate ear to a friend, or as profound as guiding someone through their own spiritual awakening. Holding space is a gift in itself, one that allows others to see and feel their own light reflected back to them. And as you do this, you'll find that your own gifts grow stronger. The more you give from a place of love and authenticity, the more the universe will flow through you. Walking the chosen path isn't always easy. There will be times when you doubt yourself, when the weight of your gifts feels heavy, or when the world's energy feels overwhelming. But in those moments, remember this: you were chosen for a reason. The challenges you face are not meant to break you, they're meant to shape you into the person you're destined to become. Every time you face your fears, every time you choose love over fear, and every time you trust your gifts, you're stepping further into your power. And in doing so, you're helping to create a world that reflects the light within you. The chosen path is not a straight line, it's a journey of growth, discovery, and transformation. Along the way, you'll inspire others to awaken to their own gifts, just as you've awakened to yours. The ripple effect of your light will extend far beyond what you can see, touching lives in ways you may never fully understand. This is the power of being chosen. It's not about being perfect, it's about being willing to trust, to grow, and to share your gifts with the world. To be chosen is not just an acknowledgement of your gifts, it is a call to action. A call to become the light in a world that so desperately needs it. You've felt it, haven't you? That deep pull, that undeniable sense that you are here for something greater. It's not just a longing, it's a knowing, a truth that resonates in the deepest part of your being. You were never meant to blend into the crowd. You were meant to rise, to awaken, and to lead. And now, more than ever, the world is waiting for you to step fully into your role as a guide for the new world. This new world isn't something far away or unattainable. It's being built right now, in this moment. It's a world where authenticity, compassion, and spiritual alignment are not just ideals but foundations. And you, as a chosen one, are a key part of its creation. Your experiences, your struggles, and your gifts have prepared you for this. Every pain you've endured, every lesson you've learned, and every moment of doubt you've overcome has shaped you into the person you are today. These weren't random events, they were initiations. They were the universe's way of molding you into a guide, into a beacon of light for others who are still searching. But what does it mean to be the light? It doesn't mean being perfect, nor does it mean always having the answers. Being the light means being real. It means standing in your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. It means embracing your humanity while honoring your divinity. It's a balance, a dance between your higher self and the part of you that is still learning, growing, and healing. To be the light is to embody the lessons you've learned, to show others what it looks like to live in alignment with your soul. You don't need to preach or persuade. Your authenticity alone is enough to inspire transformation in others. As a guide for the new world, your role isn't to lead from a place of ego or control. It's to lead by example, to live in a way that reflects the values of this new world: love, unity, and truth. People are drawn to light not because it demands attention, but because it illuminates the path. When you walk in alignment with your gifts, when you trust your intuition, and when you live from your heart, you naturally become a source of guidance for those around you. Let me ask you this: what kind of world do you want to leave behind? What legacy do you want your light to create? The truth is, you may never fully know the impact of your presence. You may never see the lives you've touched or the seeds you've planted. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that you show up, that you continue to honor your gifts, even when it feels like no one is watching. Because the ripple effect of your light extends far beyond what you can see. Every kind word, every moment of compassion, every time you choose love over fear, it all contributes to the creation of this new world. The journey of the chosen one is not an easy one. It comes with challenges, doubts, and moments of isolation. But it also comes with profound purpose. You carry within you the blueprint for a better world, and by living in alignment with your gifts, you help bring that blueprint to life. So, I ask you, are you ready to embrace your role? Are you ready to be the light, not just for yourself, but for others? Because this is what it means to be chosen. It's not just about what you can gain, it's about what you can give. And the more you give from a place of authenticity and love, the more the universe will support you on your path. The world is changing, and you are part of that change. You are here not by accident, but by design. You are a guide, a teacher, a visionary. You are the light that will help others find their way. So step into your power, trust your gifts, and remember this: the world is waiting for you. The time is now. Shine,